We need to take the applicant's time out and practice and act to the students who feel the most vulnerable. And the security state operates on a binary where people are either allies or dissenters to be destroyed at all costs. Anything other than complete rejection hyperlinks all the time. So the act, I active to more security settings, you want to get results slowly to the more political motivate articulate transitions similarity to that. There's only force unity under traditional warfare to govern settles the setting and protect democracy from enemies, but remains insufficiently engaged to sending calls to acts of violence and armed rebellion against murder and war. And the security state justifies warfare with this binary to sustain hegemony and make the threats anyway calculus that nails down for the invisible violence happening against close epistemological law. Only the acknowledging that the warfare is fueled by the torture of of ordinary citizens can be deconstructed securitization. With links on that. Most imprisoned and tortured aliens have become awareness which have handed over gravity. The U.S. is come to be dominated by the threat of the war on terror. It's only paranoia that has the threat of the war on terror. The limitless war against the limitless threat terror is not identifiable nor strategic target. We need to make visible circuits of real violence that now animate the war on terror to allow people that always to have the empire made visible as ordinary people who create use exceptionalism. That's something to allow to happen to ordinary people. And free speech replace campus criticism with government propaganda, massive spillover, journalism gradually the ability to pursue controversial pieces and censorship and normalized standards. The president continues his newspaper at Indiana University requires students to put together with the particular reports institutions, South FSC, to allow advocates as higher review for publications and propaganda pieces. Academic freedom is a courtesy that administrations regarding disasters for journalism, rights, full discussion, inadequate literature to controversial stories, become acceptable limits on speech that pave a path towards vastly expanded federal and state regulation. And discourse is a prerequisite to change. Relationships must first be made visible before reformation can occur. Wiggenbach 11. I used to come up to direct commission of relations can be made visible because contested scrutiny, developers will produce contested short power, commission relation. I used to think it's supposed to reformation outcome. I used to might lead to tyrannical reforms. We decided democratic institutions advocates will lead to deconstructive injustice. If it's democratic institutions that the real transformation might arise. Underview. Looking to critique security failures, which are now 6 billion people in network of production that's crucial to their survival and is more likely to drive people towards rating ideology. Brian, well, the academic philosophy of abstraction is good at such an information that there is rigorous ability to judge the objects. In order for collections to be produced, people need to hear and understand critiques. Yeah, only an academic PhD can understand. Revolutionaries, the British founding families because they drive people to rating ideology. How are we to do anything when we're properly? Because 6 billion people are dependent on the network of production. We know the problem. We're intoxicated with friction because it's easy and safe. What we need is proper. None of us are proposed alternatives. And it's triad. Militarism is the root cause of suffering. 11. Militarism is inflicted massive suffering. Oil burning is a fundamental cause. Climate change is a primary motive for counterforce. Running larger is uninhabitable, facilitating millions. Access to assistance, talent, fiercely for your conflict. Militarism promote all solutions to the problem of global economies and kills development for the constitution, wealth, power, and expense humanity. And totalizing counts of power creates resistance. Working within resistance, within structures of power creates spaces of meeting contra oppressive scripts. 13. Assumption of the fundamental economy with these specific human agency. There's no correlation with broadcast to lowest common denominator universe such as the imperial policy agenda is a quest for authenticity. They downplay words of inmate and maybe the necessity for policy agenda can drive the like the possibility of matching agency anti-liberal straitjacket. Founded multi-feminist struggles with the descriptive government rationalities. This question over some debates liberal policy rationalities and nurture skepticism about universally good or bad actors and abstract solutions. Such ethics would awaken revolution, hope for freedom, instead whatever cause available would require responsibility of consequences of political choices. For these reasons, I strongly urge an affirmative ballot. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Starting process. Joe, are you timing?
I'm not timing.
Okay, then I'll time. Sorry, hold up. Please give me a second. I'm going to push first. Joe's ready? I'm ready. Okay. So you said that like power like freezes resistance, right? Mm-hmm. And by power you mean government. Mm-hmm. Right?
The security states.
What was that?
The security state in particular, because it's affirmative is specifically about deconstructing the security state.
Okay, can you explain that?
Yeah, so basically what our affirmative wants to do is the security state is there, it's resulting in like oppression on various groups of people in college campuses. You have like specific evidence from our friends saying like an Arab student was, for instance, kicked out of class, and another professor was like either kicked out or just told to shut up basically because they're speaking too much. They're saying too much according to like the security state, and those in power effectively the elite. And basically what our affirmative is saying is that biologically speaking, these college campuses, we allow people to speak out and like get rid of this mindset that like the government and like the security state is enforcing that censorship is good and to be tolerated. Look at the standard 6 evidence on that, and and our affirmative is basically about that now.
So what is like the obligation of the school? And why is this an obligation of the schools to do this?
I never said it was an obligation. We're just saying that's the plan.
Do you think it's an obligation for schools to prevent this kind of like speech, or prevent this prevention of this kind of speech?
Well, it's the thing that we are saying in our affirmative is that we are getting rid of this. We're getting rid of oppressive speech. We're getting rid of people being kicked out simply for speaking out.
Yes, is that an obligation?
Not necessarily.
Okay, cool. Also, you're talking about like terrorism. What does that have to do with that?
Oh, you're talking about the war on terror?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, basically it's about how people are being oppressed. You know how and like the oppression is coming sort of as a result of the war on terror because of the ideas behind the war on terror. Students and professors, specifically of color, are silenced, and this allows sort of students to accept censorship later in their lives. This is just coming as a result of the war on terror, so we're saying that like our affirmative is also
okay.
The war on terror.
And you said something about like weighing this terrorism without it being underground. It's like incorrect. It's your McClintock 9 card. Can you explain that too?
So basically what the McClintock 9 card is saying is that the security state, which is the elite, the ones in power, the ones we're trying to fight off here, is justifying the binary listed in IV5. That's someone's either an ally or an enemy. There's no like in between. Just because like we are fighting you somewhere else means that you're an enemy here. Basically, it's talking about how the innocents are being harmed as a result of the war on terror, and how the terror is not like an identifiable threat. You can't like actually target terror specifically. It's basically an excuse for oppressing those that you believe are like causing stuff.
Okay. Starting prep. Well, soon. With 1 point of this time, I'll be starting prep. Okay, starting prep now. On my work, start writing. Ready? In colleges and universities, I would not to restrict any constitutionally protected speech. Before I begin, I offer these following questions. Professor of Law Martin Matsuda defines the hate speech through three criteria. One, the message of inferiority. Two, the message is directed against the historically expressed group. And three, the message is persecutory, hateful, and pervaded. Merriam-Webster defines ought as a moral obligation. Oxford Dictionary defines telos as a thing's object or aim. Telos can be understood as an innate purpose. Oxford Dictionary defines university as an educational institution designed for instruction of students, often dividing colleges of similar institutions. I value telos. Telos is the highest value because it's the only way to derive objective moral obligations. Patrick Keeney explains morality presupposes a teleological framework, without which morality is impossible. Telos is the only device by which we can move from statements of is to statements of ought. From the factual statement, this watch keeps accurate time, we can move to evaluate the conclusion, this is a good watch, because the function of a watch is to keep time accurately. The criterion for something being a watch and the criterion for something being a good watch cannot be defined independently of each other. These propositive concepts allow us to transform evaluative statements into factual statements. The resolution asks what colleges and universities ought to do. Therefore, the relevant question in this debate is about telos of colleges and universities. Social and political constructions like universities are no different than physical tools. They're created by humans for a specific purpose. The purpose of a university is to promote education. Whether for learning's sake or for the end of getting a job, a good university is one that provides a good education. Thus, the by criterion for this resolution is promoting education. In addition, but from a by criterion, because education is a prerequisite to civilization, able to uphold values. Michael Weber writes, if the people are to govern, they need to be properly educated. Education should be a state's prerogative. Only educated people governing for the common good can guarantee the existence of a country as an independent nation. Education grants civilization, i.e. the very possibility of living an authentic life, something that involves the capacity to govern the city, to resist oppression, and to refuse to become an oppressor oneself. I contend that colleges and universities are justified in restricting speech that hinders education. Subpoint A, hate speech. Hate speech gently or greatly undermines education. Diana Garrett explains, hate speech is not defined by isolated incidents or merely jokes. It is specifically intended to degrade and cause them harm to individuals. In the context of historical oppression and discrimination, hate speech has larger implications for all members of a targeted group. Victims of hate speech suffer both emotionally and physically. Psychological response to such stigmatization consists of feelings of humiliation, isolation, and self-hatred. Hate speech takes away human dignity and self-worth and causes self-doubt. Individuals subjected to harassing environments in which hate speech exists may not be able to focus their attention on academics. They cannot grow and develop in ways particular to their peers. Students who are busy worrying about their physical and emotional safety have the time and energy to participate in university activities. Thus, university ought to restrict hate speech, even when it's constitutionally protected, in order to best promote the education of all students. Subpoint B, limiting unproductive discourse. Open discourse is not the best model for education. Some restrictions are necessary. Eric Posner writes, a classic failure of ideological arguments break out that have nothing to do with understanding of an idea or subject. It is the responsibility of a professor to conduct the class in such a way that maximal learning occurs, not maximal speech. The unique benefit of college comes from learning new information catered by professors. In order to create a better educational environment within classrooms, professors are justified in restricting speech, thus NADA. If you're confused about the framework of teleology, basically I'm saying that the only way to objectively justify what is good or bad is an object's purpose. For instance, a watch is only a good watch if it keeps time well, right? So the teleology of a school is if they can educate their students well. And I'm saying that racism and hate speech and oppression and structural violence going around currently every day throughout the schools prevents the education going on within the schools. and so thus it's an obligation for schools to restrict the amount of hate speech in order to really get a good classroom environment. And now to my AC. Starting off with line by line, my opponent says that like hate speech code or speech code prevents equality. But I don't think this is true. Equality is necessary and can be achieved, though through speech codes. And even though I proved through my cards that like education is more important than rights in your school years and in your like as a child when your brain is still developing, it is necessary to get your education before you could presuppose and have any amount of autonomy completely. And so discard this argument. My opponent also says that discourse is a prerequisite to change, which means discourse comes before change because in order to argue, change comes from arguments. And my response to this is education is a prerequisite to discourse because we won't have any valuable discourse within any space at all if we were not educated. Which means every like ideology would be completely asserted and completely guessed and without any educational thought at all. My opponent also says that power freezes resistance and putting power in the hands of the administration like freezes resistance and activism. I think that activism is still possible within the power in the hands. And secondly, power can help as well. The U.S. government is currently trying to implement speech codes that mean good and they can help. Thus, I urge process open.
First, the advocacy defense is just getting rid of putting enforcements to get rid of hate speech.
Mainly in college campuses. I believe that free speech is a necessary human right, but within colleges, colleges can't allow hate speech because it prevents their education and threatens their main purpose of education.
You don't defend the status quo, right?
Well, the resolution is not about the entire status quo. It's only about universities. So I guess so, but even then I have cards proving that speech codes do work and even we have speech codes, we have limitations on what we can say, and I think they're very effective, so this can be used in real life outside of university.
All right. You say on the you say at the on the case that speech codes promote equality. Then later you say
that was your response. Wait. Yeah, I said that speech codes don't promote equality, but equality within schools and stuff can be achieved. You could make a law mandating equal pay and equal education throughout races. Using speech codes and other laws.
Okay, let's go back to Talos. Exactly how are you going to make sure that people get a proper education just by limiting hate speech?
Well, it's not only by limiting hate speech
then what
that
doing? What exactly
education can be achieved. I'm saying that education is threatened because students who are oppressed within college campuses can't focus on their safety and well-being more than their education within the college campuses. And it's scientifically proven that someone's worried about their safety and scared to even go outside and express their own opinion because they're so oppressed that they can't learn as well. And that threatens education within the workspace.
Okay, thank you.
And I've given that
Can you give a very clear advocacy or exactly what plan you're going to, because you're kind of skipping between I support putting restrictions on all hate speech and I support the status quo. So can you clarify exactly the text you're going for?
Well, I didn't really clarify a specific step-by-step like regimen in which I should,
No, I just want like what are the intent to do, like what.
okay, well, I guess it starts like in the beginning with speech codes preventing things like
So you want to
shoving out like anti-Semitistic thoughts during like a Jewish studies class, right? Like it started with laws, things like that. And I guess like anything that prevents the amount of education going in campuses. I have 2 examples.
All right, that's fine.
Like,
Do you review situation? Do you mind if I ask one question?
All right, time's up.
Okay. Running. Okay, so. 4 minutes. The order is overview, case, then negative in the order that it was read.
Correct.
The overview can be put either at the top or after there's maybe.
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it.
Everyone ready? First, as a quick overview, my opponent completely drops the entire piece. You can you can extend it from the top to the bottom. You extend the Jerome acceptance chatter G14 IV5 McClintock 9 standards, which is clearly stating that just because once restrictions and just be having restrictions has been enforced in campuses, people will start to accept this as the norm. They accept it outside. They see no reason to fight what the elites are saying. Then you extend Wittgenbach 11. Agonism is extremely important. You need to it's the only way that we can actually maintain any change, any way we can change the way that things are working. Then you extend CACC This is clearly stating that like we lead to militarism. This is a huge impact. You prefer impact in this debate because like once again, extend Brian, like 6 million people can be affected by this versus like my opponent is just saying that my opponent is just saying that like we should go by telos, which I can prove that I actually can support. Then back on like the top of the recognition part, like it's extremely clear right now that people are being oppressed. You have like an Arab student that was literally kicked out of his class for expressing anti-imperialism opinion. You have professors that are being shut down. You have so many people that are being restricted just because of the especially people of color, just because of the war and terror going on, and because of like the binary twin identified that people believe that people are either enemies or allies. Then on Chandler 7, you also on Chandler 7, like on case my opponent completely drops the role of the ballot. You can extend this. It's a huge deal. We have to deconstruct the security state and securitization through policy. Actually, the affirmative is the only one that is actually following this role of the ballot. Since it goes conceded completely, you can just extend that. This is what we're evaluating the roundabout. There's pretty much from this point of view no way that my opponent can win. But either way, I'm going to continue on to the negative flow. First on hate speech, Marketplace's ideas is a better way of resolving racial tensions and gives a strong First Amendment principles are crucial for progress of rights movement, which strong many. In context of primary racism, political strategy of increasing speech to be more effective than in advancing policy, overseeing other governments, which should firmly endorse equality principles, it's more to advise anti-racism strategies consistent with the First Amendment. Minority groups of problems and the internet, we can free speech guarantee the support for the defense of speech, less purposes, fair message. To audiences who found such messages highly effective. The most impressive disruptive project for such a large extent, deals especially when on diversity, political and constitution as we guarantee both of aims must be treated to develop and inequality, effective aims must be pursuits of the realization of the other. Then also you have also like speech of health races by turning them into murder stuff. Such psychological senses of really bad basically saying that like by putting these restrictions on you feel like you're actually encouraging you're making people that speak out a little bit harder. And my opponent at the top of his face says that TOs is like a prerequisite, that education is a prerequisite to everything, and without and that TOs is like a prerequisite, like extremely important. First of all, we solve because like we are actually able to solve our education without getting rid of this oppression. You actually have there's no way that people can be educated properly. We actually expand education by allowing for discourse to get the other people's point of view. You eventually receive like a decision together. This is like the best way to do things. Then also like my opponent ruins the value to life for other people, like because like it's not really true that it's just not true that people are able to learn without being oppressed. Then also he claims that that like you can't discourse without being educated, but this is universities. Everybody in a university in some level of education, everyone discourses continues. For these reasons, I strongly urge you for the ballot. Thank you.
Okay. So I will be doing mainly like voting issues and line by line, if I get enough time. Okay, hold on, sorry. Oh, sorry, okay. Time starts now. So starting off the voting issues, I'd like to add, you should prefer my value immigrant criterion to have established that my criterion to their, my opponents, because, without education, you were never able to establish any sort of community or language or anything like that at all. And through professors and educators educating their people and students, we are only allowed to establish any kind of moral meaning out of our lives, and establish many things like our autonomy, and other stuff like that. So prefer my value of teleology, because it's more, because it's asking the question of ought, and because the resolution is asking the question of what universities ought to do. Telos is a direct link to that, because telos is what anything ought to do. And telos is asking the question of what anything should be doing in any situation. So prefer my value for two reasons. One, only telos provides an objective grounding for moral reason. And two, prefer my framework because it's specific to the university in this resolution. Even if, like, deconstructing, like, the security states and, you know, like, productive discourse is a really good thing, it's not what a university is obligated to uphold. And because it's not necessary for the education of the students, the university shouldn't have to, like, absolutely have to, be able to uphold the resolution. That's my second voting issue. I achieve all my opponent's benefits. I agree that, like, discourse is a very good thing, but even though discourse is really good, having teleology and achieving the innate purpose of schools doesn't prevent discourse. And I've established a definition of hate speech in the beginning of my speech, which my opponent did not responded to. So that's going to be the definition of this round of hate speech. Hate speech is persecutory against an oppressed group of individuals. And this means that discourse isn't necessarily that, and so you could still have effective and productive discourse without having my definition of hate speech. So basically, I prevent hate speech and also uphold discourse as well. That will be time, I think.
2:38 left.
Oh, really?
No, for my friend.
Oh, my bad.
No, but I think your speech at like 2:30.
Yeah, I think you had more time left too. That was too short for that next speech, but
Yeah, you have to-
if you're done, you're done. If you want to keep going, keep going. Either way doesn't make any difference to me. Okay.
Hello. Hello, Eric.
Three minutes, the order will be his voting issues, case, then the negative.
Okay.
Everyone ready? I'm ready.
First on the voting issues, my opponent says that you should look to his valid criterion because it's a prerequisite. But first of all, we are actually we are a prerequisite to your voting issues. This was completely completed in the from the 1AR. Once again, you have to have discourse. You have to prevent oppression, which is what our affirmative seeks to do. In order before you can have this kind of education that is fulfilled by that is fulfilled. The reason for this is because you specifically you state yourself that hate speech is a problem. The thing is, our Strongson 90 evidence, as well as both of our Strongson 90 evidence specifically talks about how one, the marketplace of ideas is the best way to solve for hate speech. Two, if you put in speech codes and the likes, you're just martyrifying. You're making people that speak out. You're making people that hate on others effectively. You're making them martyrs. You're making them seem great because they're doing something that's against a restriction versus doing everything the affirmative way will prevent this and solve for things better, because we also allow the education of the people of the opposing side. It's not just everybody's on one side. If we educate them about the opposing side, why some people might have some certain views, we also are able to and we're also able to confront that via counter speech and the marketplace of ideas. Then also, like, my opponent talks about how he achieves all my benefits, but once again, this is not true via the Strawson cards evidence. Then he says that he still produces productive discourse. However, this is not true. You have to acknowledge everything the other side is saying before you can actually have productive discourse. It's going to lead to some kind of solution for hate speech and all the problems that we bring. Now we move on to the negative. They completely drop the fact that, like, the case outweighs. Coach clearly states that being harassed and kicked out of a job is like 100% worse than pretty much anything that can happen to you. And we also feel the university's obligation. Then, like, we move on to the case. Once again, extending from, like, the AC, every single thing here has been dropped. My opponent doesn't have a way to solve for this here. We are the only ones solving for deconstructing securitization. This roll of the ballot goes conceded through the entire round. We also solve for my opponent's framework. If you look overall, we have access to the largest impacts of militarism. We have, like, this clear agonism going on. We prevent, like, people from thinking that restrictions and is completely okay. The Sanders evidence for you, and overall, if you look at the debate, you have the negative world. You have these hate speech restrictions, but people are dying all of it. People are, like, supporting themselves as martyrs. They have, like, no actual solution. You're just silencing a certain group. And that can also be used against minorities versus the affirmative world where you actually have the minorities rising up. The minorities are able to speak out. They're able to say what they feel. There's no risk of being kicked out, losing your education. That's definitely not the point of university. For these reasons, I strongly support this out. Good debate.
Okay, F1 and after the rebuttal speech, you just dropped too much stuff. You didn't even shake my hand this time. Yeah. I like, and your this is how you should have responded to Ask's case. My opponent just self-destructed when she read her case. She read Zanotti 13, which says that imperialism of ideas based on liberty and freedom is inherently bad, and then instead we should replace with implication, situatedness, and relationality. Unfortunately for her, in affirming a principlist position on this, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's like, thing is, you got to look at her case. In that card's fucking, that's dangerous, man. Somebody's got to turn that shit on you, for sure. As far as teleology goes, the problem with it is a value. It's not a value, right? It's not a value. It's a notion that we can understand the essence of something through its purpose. However, there's multiple problems with that. Most systems aren't purposed. They're emergent phenomenon of chaotic realities. And so, like, a university isn't purposed per se. You might say that a university serves a purpose, but it doesn't have an essence because it's not a thing, it's a concept. And nothing has an essence anyway. And so even if you were to affirm the ancient Greek notion of teleology, it still wouldn't be a value, and making something more consistent with its own purpose is a tautology insofar as you're defining what the purpose is, and then you're saying, well, it's more like that. I like the idea in general of saying it needs to fulfill its duty as an educational institution, first and foremost. But I mean, I obviously didn't vote on value at all. Even if you had won the value, she still won roll a ballot, which was much more important in this instance, because that forced me, when she said in the rebuttal speech, you know, he dropped roll a ballot, and that forces you to evaluate the round under these metrics. She's right, and I had to evaluate it under war on terror. Her case is ridiculous, frankly. I mean, it's great, but it's ridiculous because it's full of critical theory nonsense. It's got no actual meat to it. There's no way that I mean, it's necessarily bad that speech be restricted
at the end, it's just like, oh, I voted you down because I don't like this.
That's intervention.
Yeah.
Intervention means did your opponent make the argument that he voted on?
He made like some of them, but not all of them.
Don't do work for the debaters is rule number one for judges. I think your case is complete bullshit. I mean, I considered that at all, right?